With 5 months until the presidential election, Americans, you're not surprised, probably, sharply divided. But it's not just federal office holders who are facing a lot of this toxic atmosphere that's out there. There's also harassment, unfortunately, against many local officials. That's increased by 55% over the past 2 years, according to a recent study from Princeton University. CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us. She has been investigating this. Caitlin, tell us about what you have found. We know after 2020 that there was a lot of vitriol directed toward election officials. Has that not only remained, but actually gotten worse, and why?
Yeah, Bob, it's a really good point. And we know that this has been directed towards election officials. But what this study found and what we found through our reporting is that this is now directed towards local officials at various, levels of government. And what's striking here is that, for federal office holders, you expect, unfortunately, harassment and threats. For local offices, things like the school board, county clerks, county commissioners, city managers, people who are really close, intimately close to their communities and help run things like, making sure the water's running and the water's on, right? Or running the school board. Those are positions that used to not be controversial. And now the Princeton study shows an increase in threats and harassment. And we found, too, that this level of harassment is something kind of out of a movie. I mean, one county clerk in Erie found a partial pipe bomb thrown into her house while they were sleeping. A mayor in Texas was sent a noose in the mail. We also were in Nevada, where we focused this story, and there were GPS trackers placed on the cars of a mayor candidate and a county commissioner candidate. This just shows this toxicity that we've kind of become used to here in Washington is reaching basic levers of government across the country.
Well, that's a sweeping assessment about what's going on out there. But tell me about some of the individual stories like Beth Smith.
Yeah, so we spent some time in Washoe County, Nevada. As you know from covering politics, it's such a critical swing county in a critical battleground state. But we talked to Beth Smith. She's a member of the school board. And she says, when she ran for the school board, or when she joined the school board, she was thinking about her kids' classes being overcrowded. She joined for those kinds of reasons. But now she has to have conversations with her kids about, whether they can answer the door when someone knocks. She tells them not to go to the door. She has to talk to them about the threats that she's facing. And there's been particular, harassment geared towards her in particular, coming from a local right-wing activist who has essentially made light of her battle with breast cancer, has detailed her painful divorce in blog posts. And she kind of resembles the kinds of people that we are talking about here. And this kind of politics has really kind of infiltrated Washoe County. And we actually talked to the chair of the Republican Party there, who said that, this kind of thing is effective and it gets people's attention. And experts we're talking to have been saying that this is what they call lawful but awful. Various sorts of harassment aren't always illegal, but they do have a real impact on the ability for these people to do their work. And we actually saw that in the study, a decrease in willingness to engage with your community.
Let's actually listen to Beth Smith, if we have a moment.
It's not what I signed up for, but it's the situation that we have now. And I won't let it stop me, because that's really the goal, is to stop good people from serving. Because if you can get everybody to step down, then they're able to take over.
Really interesting point she made. Her view is that a lot of this harassment is to have people stop serving, stop volunteering, stop running for local office. Do you sense, when you are reporting on this front, that many people in the future are just going to opt out? They say too much, not enough security, not enough stability, I'm out.
It's a really important point, Bob, because, members of Congress and people in higher office have the infrastructure to deal with security threats and harassment. These local people, they're getting harassed, at the grocery store. The proximity to their constituents is kind of key here. And what's notable about what she said is that, this is not going to drive her out. She actually was reelected recently to the board earlier this month. But in this study, 40% of local officials said that they are likely not to run for re-election because of this. So this is having an impact on driving people out of public service. That's the kind of public service that's just fundamental and basic.